let's talk running form. So if you watched my last video, I fractured my hand, I'm pretty sure. It's been a little over 2 weeks, definitely still not better, not really worse. So that happened, and it happened while running, obviously. Okay, cat, sorry. I'm nobody. Okay, fine, you stay too. Let me just take, having some hot chocolate, and that's the issue with the animals, is he's gonna block it. So I think the issue partially on running is because I'm trying to stay in zone 2, I don't think I'm picking up my feet very well. And I mean, I've never been truly a runner. Like, I run, but it's not like I was ever coached in any way really on proper run form. I just feel like I've always thought it's something that like should be natural. You should just be able to go out and go for a run. But I feel like I'm not picking up my feet enough, and digging through the internet, so obviously not perfect. The first thing I thought about was just forward lean and making sure that my feet are landing underneath me like they're supposed to. And I feel like I have an okay grip on that, especially surprisingly when I'm on the treadmill. I feel like I do a better job of it. So I just Googled running drills for picking up feet. Nothing fancy, nothing special, just see what drills are out there. And I came across a couple, but the one thing that kind of stuck with me was, in addition to that forward lean, thinking about your hamstrings and kind of kicking your foot up behind you. Now, because my background with running drills, like, I know high knees, like butt kicks, like some grapevine, but really don't know how to incorporate it to make it effective. So it's like, okay, I'm just gonna try a few of these drills. So that's what I tried a little bit within the last week after the snow finally melted, so I could actually like go out behind my garage and mess around on the treadmill a little. So we're gonna take a look at some of that footage, and then once I actually watch it, we'll talk a little bit more. take 3 of this video because the first one was interrupted by this dog, and the second one, my camera battery died. So, talking about what I noticed when I watched my running and run trail videos. So, very first thing, I am definitely lacking in forward lean. I just kind of noticed that. So the ones where I was outside, I was kind of focusing on some drills and then just like jogging back. And I felt like almost at some points I was like leaning back, and I was on a slight downhill, so it's also tough to see there. But I do feel like I definitely have some space to improve, and I could tell a difference in the like later clips of that where I was actually practicing forward lean. So that also could have some impact on the fact that I have had shin splints recently in my right leg. I did get a pedicure and that did help, but obviously that's not getting, a massage is not getting down to the root of the problem there. So next thing is, I initially thought when thinking about picking my feet up, I was thinking more about bouncing off the ground. So you can see I actually got a jump rope recently just for the sake of jumping rope. It's actually supposed to be very good for running, supposedly. But I was also using it just to like warm up, get my heart rate up. I kind of use that as like a strength drill play around session of about 30 minutes or so. And with the video I watched, the thing that surprised me actually is that it likely may not be a calf strength issue. I've always had very like, this is gonna sound really like full of myself. I have always had very nice calves. Like my calves always look pretty defined, even carrying extra body fat. So the interesting thing was that it actually might be more of a hamstring issue. So it might be a hamstring issue. And that does make sense for me. I am very quad dominant, even so when I go back to running from not running, I do tend to feel it a lot more in my quads, actually entirely in my quads. And when strength training and lifting, I have the same issue where I do tend to be very quad dominant, and if I want to utilize my hamstrings and glutes, I do have to be very intentional about that. So that was kind of the other thing that I was focusing on throughout the video, with some drills that I found, which are linked down below, that focus on getting your feet up off the ground by pulling through your hamstring. And then I also know for a fact I have weak hip flexors, which could also be an issue for me with keeping my feet up, because again, it's not so much a quad as if you think about bringing your knee up towards you, that is going to be more of a hamstring movement. So I think for me running, I have a few things to work on. The first being forward lean, second being hamstrings and really kicking my leg up behind me, and the third is kind of pulling that knee through and keeping my leg up a little bit more. So those are kind of the 3 things I'm going to focus on. Since I did that session, I have done a couple treadmill workouts, and the issue I'm running into is when I am picking my feet up more and focusing on that, I can't, like, I'm not going slow enough to keep my heart rate down. My heart rate staying in zone 2 and really has to be that shuffle that's kind of talked about at the beginning of the video I linked below. So I just kind of shifted to a interval where my average heart rate is probably low zone 2. The first one was like walking for 4.5 minutes and literally just running for 30 seconds because I have to run again at a pace that is not a zone 2 pace. And the second one I actually did today, it was 30 minutes, and my running on it was typically about a minute to a minute and a half. And it definitely feels good. I can feel a slight difference with just the way I'm running in it. And I'm hoping that if I keep it up, I will be able to get to a point where I can improve my form and efficiency and stay in zone 2. One other thing I'm considering is also to get an actual run analysis and work with someone on working on my form to help it be more efficient. Unfortunately, I'm a little time and money constrained right now because I had this very nice cat that's up next to me decided to get very sick a couple weeks ago. So that's just not something that's practical for me right now, but it's definitely something I want to do because I think that if I can also get more efficient at my running and not exerting energy that I don't need to, that'll also help with staying in zone 2 like I should be during training. So those are kind of the things that I learned from watching myself run this week on video, and what I'm going to be working on going forward with my running. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and I will catch you in the next one.